Started in 1976 by the IK Champions National Redemption Council, this magnificent edifice was part of plans to expand the KATH Teaching Hospital. The old maternity block, it has been called, was estimated to hold a 1,000-bed medical center capable of soaking a major part of KATH's congestion challenges. Now, this is the second time we are going to see a demolition of this building due to structural integrity challenges. Now, we've been told that currently, per the assessment of various engineers, the structure cannot hold when fully completed with equipment, staff, and patients due to one weak concrete structure and some rusting iron rods in there. Now, this assessment by the experts have been presented to the cabinet of the government, and they have agreed that this structure should be pulled down. Now, no timelines has been given yet as to when it will be pulled down, but it has been confirmed that it needs to be pulled down and reconstructed starting from the ground. Now, I'm saying this is the second time it's going to be pulled down because in 1999, under the administration of the first president of the Fourth Republic, Jerry John Rawlings, the administration had to pull down the earlier structure due to its weak infrastructural integrity. But again, work has stalled, and today we come back to the same problem. Parliament in 2019 approved a loan of 155 million euros from the Dutch bank to complete and equip the block for use within 36 months. In May last year, President Akufo-Addo cut short for the completion of the project. But government sources say Cabinet has rather approved the demolition of the entire structure to start reconstruction from the scratch due to structural integrity challenges. Experts say after an assessment, the building was found to be weak. If the demolition goes through, it will be the second time after it was pulled down in 1999 for the same reason at another stage of completion. On the streets of Kumasi, there are mixed reactions to the development.
Sometimes, or most of the times, it is better to totally demolish, pull down, and build from ground, which comes in cheaper, far cheaper than keeping the existing and trying to make extensions and adapt those old buildings. So first of all, because of what it was for, the integrity, you may be using different strengths of concrete, different strengths of piling because it's a high-rise building. So maybe and if you have different strength of piling, that can cause problems. In order to reinforce one piling to ensure that they are the same strength, you may, it will involve a lot of cost, and it is easier to do it all over again, making sure that all the piles you're doing are of the same strength.
I think if that's what they have decided to do, it will be a waste of money and waste of resources as well, because you can't just decide to pull everything down just like that. What they could have done was maybe to make things, like put things together. If they could have maybe, I don't know what word to use, that. Yes, if they could have done that, I think it would be better, rather than pulling everything down and starting all over. That would be a waste of money, a waste of everybody's time. Maybe, who knows, it could be that somebody else would want to put some money in their pocket.
Oh God, what do I make of this? Let's have a conversation. Erastus Asare Donko will be joining us. Seth Kwame Boateng told the first story that got all of us to Kumasi, to KATH Teaching Hospital. The fundraiser then happened, and then we got a fresh baby unit courtesy the First Lady's Foundation and, of course, herself. Seth Kwame Boateng, good morning.
Mamabi, good morning.
Oh, Seth, so this is where we are. Do I have, is Erastus with us as well? Hello, Erastus, if you can hear me. Okay, but I also do have Engineer Maham Abdullahi, who's a road and building consultant, also joining us. I don't have Erastus here yet, but I have Kwame and then Engineer Maham Abdullahi. Good morning to you, Engineer Abdullahi, if you can also hear me.
Yeah, good morning, I can hear you.
Okay, great. All right. Let me start with Kwame. Kwame, how are you taking this news of this structure, 47-year-old structure being pulled down? Yes, hi, Kwame. I was trying to get a reaction from you. Okay, Kwame can't quite hear me, so let me speak to our professional who's joining us with some understanding. How should we, Engineer Maham Abdullahi, how should we be interpreting this news that we're getting from the people who spoke in Kumasi to my colleague Erastus? There are some people even implying that maybe somebody wants to put money in their pocket or something like that. We just don't trust the system. So how should we be interpreting this news?
Well, good morning to your viewers. I think to us the professionals, the news is coming timely because we are talking about a 47-year-old structure which has been abandoned and has gone under the mercy of the weather for all these years. Even concrete which have been protected after some years of their lifespan, they go through some of these defects, the cycling. How much more a structure, a frame, which has been left for 47 years, in excess of 45 years, exposed to the mercy of the weather on its own without the adequate protection. So to us as engineers, it is only a welcoming news. However unfortunate the cost that has been incurred already in the structure, the framework standing on its own.
Are we paying more for a fresh building, another facility? Because, you know, Erastus talks about the fact that this is the second time that the structure will be pulled down. We've already put in a lot. Is it more money again?
Well, what I read from the story that was posted is that it has gone through one of the structural integrity analysis or assessment. Now you are talking about two major highly recognized institutions in Ghana, in AESL, who were the consultant of the Flagstaff House, Jubilee House construction. You are talking about AESL who oversaw to the construction or the renovation of the Accra Sports Stadium. So it's not by means any small company. And then a revision was also done by the Ghana Institution of Engineers. That's the whole body in Ghana that sanctions all construction codes in the country. So the process, I will not say that it is as a result of the fact that somebody want to put some money in his pocket. I think the best decision per the report I've read so far is what has been arrived at. Now, you're looking at people doing a structural integrity analysis. Now, if it was done some years ago and the building was not completed, as in 1999, you have also left the building standing and deteriorating again. Because if that assessment was done in that year and then the work was completed, obviously we wouldn't have gotten to the stage where we are. Because day in and out, as we experience seasonal changes, rainfall, weather, and everything, even the ground itself might be undermined because adjoining lands would also awash their fluid around. There are a lot of movement of structures along the area and a lot of things. So for AESL to do the first investigation and then Ghana Highways or Ghana Institute of Engineers coming in to also do a revised option, and then other professional entities coming. It's just a process. You know, That's why we don't have definitive when it comes to engineering. That's why in any design that we do, we have what we call the factor of safety. So I think in the best interest of the country, pulling the structure off has engineering background, and that I think is the best.
Okay, let me go.
Secondly, all right, so you.
No, you finish, please.
Yeah, and what I read, the recommendations, i.e., leaving the structure to be and then enforcing or reinforcing them, would have to be done so technical. There are things that most of the guys may not have even done before, where they have to be doing pinning of the floors, reintroducing columns, beams, reducing some of the areas by adding, and then reducing the space. So if we are talking about an 800 proposed bed facility, and we're going to reduce some of the clearance, if I say the clearance, that's the height of the building from floor to floor, and then introducing columns at some corners, movement of equipment and rushing patients through would be hindered. And looking at the report that I read, I think the best decision has been arrived at. However, it is only important that when government or the institution or the client agrees that this building should be pulled down, we should not sit down and oversee to another abandoned project as the construction starts. Because that will be one time too many of needless monies going down the drain without proper supervision or proper priority to the construction of such a facility. Great.
Sir Kwame Boateng, when you told the story of Next to Die, and I think I'm right in saying one was to critically put the spotlight on the babies that were dying, but also to remind us of a structure that had been sitting there for many years. One of the issues, I think in your report, I remember, was the fact that the building had been there for so long, and these issues coming up now was also a fear then. I just want to take your reaction on the back of this news that this building is going to be pulled down.
Mama, I got very sad, extremely sad when I heard the news. And it came in as a rumor, so I made calls and I got confirmation that it was true. And I was like, really? After all these years, we are going to bring this with no technical eye. A building, I would say, is so solid. Are we going to pull this down? What is wrong? What can we do? Can't we find an alternative? Can't we do some readjustments? Can't we reinforce the building? I asked so many questions. And so I had the chance to read the report from AESL, from the Institute of Engineers. And I'm like, well, if they have the technical eye, they know what they are saying. If they are saying if we continue or government continues with the reactivation of work and the load they bring in become unbearable and it will collapse. Well, but I'm sad, not only about the millions that we have pumped into this building, but also the delay. Because I remember when the president went to confirmation last year, May, to cut short for reactivation of work. We were told in 3 years we were going to finish this structure so that it becomes operational and it was going to ease the congestion I reported on years ago. Even though what we did as multimedia, we did with the First Lady, has in a way helped ease congestion at the hospital, it's not enough. So we were all hoping that in 3 years they will finish and patients will move in and the congestion would ease. Just only for this news to come in. And I was really shocked. I was like, so how are you going to explain this to Ghanaians? How are we going to accept this? And Mama, it's also as it were put the spotlight on what the engineer said a while ago.
Yeah. Erastus also...
We are really going to pull this down, demolish this.
Erastus also joined...
What? And that is my fear.
Okay.
Even though I told that we have money already, I'm so afraid.
Let me say good morning to Erastus because he's also joined us. Erastus, you are there. Is there money available to finish the projects if they pull this down?
I wish I knew the answer to that. Currently, I don't have the answer to that. And I wish it's not to the contrary, because we cannot afford another abandoned project. I think that it's shameful that as a country, we should allow such an edifice to go down 20 years. And we've done a series of reports on this thing, drawing the attention of successive governments to this, and it all fell on deaf ears. There was no commitment from all stakeholders to try to get this done for Ashanti region, Kumasi and beyond. Mind you, this is serving about, Konfanoche is serving about 12 regions. People from all walks of life come to this facility. And so it's shameful that we could not add seriousness and urgency to this matter, and we have to wait and allow such an edifice, you see, as it stands, so majestic, so magnificent, to waste away in this manner.
Erastus, let's go back a little bit. After we did our reports and after we all came to Kumasi, we came to do morning shows there. We had people who sadly have had loved ones, their babies pass, unfortunately, just to bring attention to the issue. Afterwards, there was some work that went on, correct?
Yes, you see, there's been ongoing works. It's not like it's totally silent. They've been working, and though it's bits and pieces, we had the contractor being on site, an engineer on site, and so occasionally they did some works. So I'm even surprised that we are now saying that we've now done the necessary assessments to know that the building is weak, because there's an engineer on site. They've been there for a very long time, as much as I can remember. And so you ask yourself, many of the works that have been done, some of them are new, especially to the top there. And so at what point did we get to know that the structure is weak?
Let me put that to our professional. Engineer Mahama, how does this happen when we know that there were some works ongoing and then suddenly the news of the project being pulled down comes in? Hello, Engineer Mahama, if you can hear me. Okay, I'm not sure he can quite hear me. Yes,
I'm here.
I can hear you now. I was just asking, help us understand. They were working, and then suddenly they have to pull down the structure?
Yes, it's just like what happened some years ago in Accra. I don't want to remind people of the sad event that happened around the Melcombe disaster. You have loads being experienced. As works in the report, you say that as works are ongoing, and then human activities and dead load are added to the various floors. Now the structure begins to experience the additional weight that is coming on. So such signals will be communicated to the professionals. You start to see cracks developing diagonally or horizontally, and that would send a warning to the professional that, hey, I think we need to revisit the issue and do more extensive investigation. That prompted the third and fourth one, I believe. So it's only proper. Like I said in the initial stage, that we don't do design infinitive. That's why at every point in time, you know there are other things that are factors. And so in your design, you always add the factor of safety from like 1.5 to 2 or 3, depending on how sensitive that job is. So I still think that, however sad the issue is, I stand by the decision based on science and engineering.
Okay. All right. Thank you, sir.
That it will happen that way. And then I don't know whether you're talking about the size, which has been reduced now to the 500 bed capacity. That is also a challenge. That I had a lot of people commenting about that. The frame there, the frame structure is, let's say, about 45% of the cost of the work assumption. And if that is that 45% is what you see as the skeletal frame. If you add the finishes, i.e. the other outstanding works, and then coming with the equipment, that would have equaled the cost of the project. Now, if you are bringing this thing down, first and foremost, you're going to bring this huge edifice down. It's going to occupy a bigger space. There's a lot of technology going to go into getting this thing down so that you do not pollute the environment, because you are dealing with highly sophisticated machines or equipment at the hospital, and the lives of people who are already at the facility to visit, and then make sure that they get their health conditions well. So the demolition is going to be so technical. You're going to create a lot of volume of debris to go and spoil. And so therefore, it's only proper that when these are all done and all the debris is taken away from the site, it would have reduced the capacity.
Okay.
But my proposal is that it's always better that the 500 is done, having in mind that in the report that there's a likelihood of the extension of the project. So any design that is being done now have to factor that in the event that government want to do the extension to get about 300 more beds, that could be done without actually affecting the movement. And secondly, they spoke about the fact that when that is completed, they are anticipating that there will be an impact on traffic. I only suggest that impact assessment should be done now and now, so that it may lead to other demolition of houses or facilities that will ease movement of vehicles and other things to the facility. So we don't want to truncate the process as we are ongoing. So all those things, as they are demolishing now, all those things should be done once and for all, so that we know what is going to go into consideration or going to increase the cost or decrease the cost of the construction of the project. Thank you very much.
Fantastic suggestions there. Thank you very much as well. Erastus, please follow the money for us. We want to understand what would happen. Do they have the ready money to start a new project and finish it? I guess that's what we're interested in going forward. Hello?
Somebody, are you there?
Yes, I am here, Seth. Yes.
Okay, so based on the statement that they released, it's not the case that they are going for new money. You know that grants or the loan they went for to help finish the project, that is what they are going to use to do this new one. The statement and that they issued. And I can read that to you.
Yeah,
it
but
says
so
that to the need for utilized funds already secured to build a mother and child facility of about 500 beds and about 25,000 square meters gross floor area. This, together with other ongoing hospital projects in the northern sector of the country, may address the high mother and infant mortality. The new building would be on the same site as the existing site and designed to be capable of being upgraded to an 800 capacity facility. The old existing structure would have to be completely demolished to make room for the new building. Should the need for increasing the facility to 800 beds arise, a second phase requiring 42 million euros will be separately procured for that purpose. Meaning the old money they went for, that they were going to use to finish the project, is what they are going to do this new one. But I'm only hoping and saying that it will be enough to complete it.
Okay, so that was my fear too, because we were going to use that to finish a project that was started. Now we have to start from scratch. We've been here before, haven't we? But Seth Kwame Boateng, thank you very much. Erastus, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Erastus, we need you to follow closely because we're all interested.
Yeah, and I think one last point to make, I've heard people talk about it. I think it's something that should be considered. You see, the hospital is surrounded by the military barracks, the old barracks, and it's quite a large piece of land that the hospital really needs. I think this presents an opportunity, just like the engineer said, if they're going to pull this down, certainly it will affect some of the structures close to it. Can we take this as an opportunity to relocate the barracks and expand the hospital to fill that space? That will help all of us, especially across Ghana.
Okay, Erastus, thank you very much. Thank you, Seth Kwame Boateng. Thank you, Engineer Mahama. From one conversation to the other.